guys, welcome back to Unlocked. So today we are continuing with George Washington's rules of civility and decent behavior in company and conversation. So this has been a great journey. I'm learning a ton, and I would have to lie to you if I had to say that I haven't had to look up some of the meanings to refresh my memory on what some of this stuff means, because it's written in the 1600s and it's a big language, right? So, but again, lots of learning. And I think most common sense comes from that. I think we talked about last week how, in the military, they would have like a folder, a binder on how you even tie your shoes, how you make your bed, how you do everything. And at the end of the day, this is where we pick up common sense from. It's from documented stuff that's been, probably historically somewhere, at some point it became the norm, right? So continuing with this, if you have been subscribed, we appreciate what you're doing. If you can help me share this one more time, send it to somebody that maybe didn't reply last time, help them click the button, helps out. So, rule number 16, okay? Trying to go through these and cover these, okay? It says, do not puff up the cheeks, loll not out the tongue, or rub the hands, or beard, thrust out the lips, or bite them, or keep the lips too open or closed. Now that I know what this means, it's common sense. But, when it says don't loll out the tongue, loll is a meaning of maybe being playful. So like sticking your tongue out or just having it out. Not puffing up the cheeks or rubbing your hands or beard, maybe even biting your lips when you're around somebody. These are all expressions. You can imagine somebody standing next to you and somebody's like biting their lip, looking at somebody else. Feels inappropriate, right? It doesn't feel like the most decent thing to do. Same with somebody that's maybe rubbing their hands or their beard and they're just like this all the time, or touching themselves. It doesn't seem like the most appropriate thing for behavior around others. That's what it talks about, rule number 16. Number 17, be no flatterer, neither play with anyone that does not delight to be played with. So, as you might think, flattering somebody or saying something to somebody, making them feel better, could be a good thing. If somebody does not really enjoy being flattered, or maybe, sometimes you might be flattering somebody or saying something a little too extra nice with somebody that's romantically involved with somebody else, and it's just not the most appropriate. So, again, the rule of thumb is don't be a flatterer. Number 18, read no letter, books or papers in company. But when there is necessity for the doing, okay, so let me stop there. Read no letter, books, or papers in company. But when there is necessity for the doing of it, you must ask leave. So think about it. If you're in a room full of people conversing, you picking up a book and start reading, now you're not in alignment. Now you sound different. So if you're going to or you have to, you should ask to leave. That's what it's talking about. It says, when there is a necessity for the doing, you must ask to leave. Don't come near the books or writings of another so as to read them or give your opinion of them unasked. Also, look not nigh when another is writing a letter. So what that, back to 2025 English, this means you don't want, like somebody's writing a letter or somebody's typing on their phone, somebody's writing something, you don't want to be like right near them, because it invades a little bit their privacy. So you realize kind of like when you're going to put your PIN, which we don't anymore because now we tap to pay, but you remember putting your PIN, like it's almost like covered by something because it's a little bit of privacy of your private information. It says, don't give your opinion of something that you might not be you're not supposed to be reading. And then it says, it says also look not nigh when another is writing a letter. What that means is, let's say somebody's writing or typing, you don't want to be the person that's like looking near it. Nigh means almost or close to something. So if somebody's writing a book or a letter or typing something on their phone, you don't want to be the person that's like kind of looking. And again, you've probably done this, or even if you're in the subway, you're in a bus, in a public setting, you're near somebody, people cover their phones. They even sell these screens where like you can't see what's on the phone unless you're directly across from it. My wife has that on her phone. So again, it's common sense, but rule number 18, very important. Number 19, okay, it says, let your countenance be pleasant, but in serious matters, somewhat grave. what does this mean? Okay, grave, it derives from like maybe death or standing in a serious matter or funeral. Again, the most extreme example would be, imagine you're in a serious place or somebody's funeral or something very serious, and you're just like standing a little lazy. That's what it talks about, your countenance being pleasant, and it kind of goes along with rule number 20 as well. In serious matters, somewhat grave. So imagine yourself standing at a place in which there's a funeral. You would be standing in a serious matter, and you wouldn't be like relaxed, because your body language communicates a lot. Okay, rule number 20, the gestures of the body must be suited to the discourse you're upon. If you're standing watching a game with a bunch of friends in a social environment, it's kind of cool to almost be doing whatever. If you're standing at a wedding, if you're standing at church, it's different. If you're standing in your friends in the living room, it's different. So your gestures of your body should be kind of aligned with what the environment is. Again, it's awareness. So, and we've talked about this in the past, where you don't want to walk into a room where everybody's standing and sit. Well, you don't want to walk into a place where everybody's sitting and stand. Okay, we're talking about decency and behavior and company and conversation. And so just to wrap up, okay, a lot of this stuff is standing near, being near, coming into a room near someone else, and just understanding how you align yourself, your behavior, your common sense with the room. And I can't emphasize how important this is in a work setting as well, in a business setting. You know, I remember in sales, one of the first things I learned is learning how to mirror the customer. So if I'm talking to a maybe 85-year-old lady that's kind of like maybe shorter than me and is in a relaxed setting, I'm going to act different than if I'm talking to like, you know, some gym bro that comes out of the door like, hey man, what's up? What you got going on? It's like a different thing. You want to mirror, and you want to almost align, again, the gestures of your body to the environment and the awareness. Not only it's going to help you communicate at a higher level, but it's also going to be a lot more decent. So hopefully this helps. We'll continue with rules 21 through 25, and we'll see you at the next one.